Hello, I am doing a little bit of an update. It is nearly the end of the month, and I have a couple times this year so far made basically a mood board to put in my journal at the beginning of each month. I like to do that to kind of like reset on some goals and some priorities for the month and have like a fun aesthetic visual representation. I just think that's a fun way to do it. I also have an updated timeline for writing. This is something that every once in a while I'll make a timeline as far as writing goes. I've discussed that timeline before in like my path to publishing videos and a little bit like on my Patreon, but that tends to get like pushed back or put on hold depending on what's going on in life. And obviously this is something that I know, like I've accepted that I'm gonna run into throughout my writing career, is that I'm gonna have slumps, I'm gonna have slow periods. If I wanna take like a month or two off of writing, I wanna be able to do that for sure, because I think that can be super valuable just for like rest and resetting, and I think it can be really helpful for your projects. But I don't want it to be 6 months long like it just was. I kind of realized and have been realizing that because I still do want to publish and because I do want to go the self-publishing route for at least these first couple of books, and that's a very entrepreneurial, work for yourself, organize yourself, discipline yourself kind of path to take. I've just been thinking about the fact that it's going to be really important for me to learn how to manage myself, and it's going to be really important for me to prioritize my writing, because if I don't, I'm not going to be able to go down that path. Like if I don't prioritize my writing, I am never going to finish this book, and it's never going to get out there. And I think something else that I want to be focusing on that would be valuable regardless of the type of publishing that I want to do, like even if I do traditional publishing later on down the road with a different project, this is still something that I would need to learn how to manage myself. I would need to learn how to manage my time and manage my work and prioritize my writing while also prioritizing learning about the craft and continuously growing in that area, and also like prioritizing reading. I'm just like trying to find this beautiful mix and balance between loving my craft and having so much fun with it and just like exploring and just the creativity of storytelling that I love so much, that is the reason that I do this, and marrying that with the idea that I also want to make some sort of, you know, small career out of this. I don't need to become like a full-time six-figure author, but I would like to be making enough like income from this writing career that I can put it back into my books and put it back into my learning and get like special editions, audiobooks, and just have more time in general to work on my writing and my books and my craft. You know, I want to publish my work, but I want to make sure that I'm still doing it in a sustainable way that is honoring the creativity of the storytelling that I really love, that like is my purpose for doing this. But on the flip side, I want to start earning an income from my writing so that I don't have to work as much at my other jobs, and I can therefore put even more into my writing. But at the same time, I want to try and avoid like putting too much pressure on the publishing aspect of my writing, because what if it takes away from the creative part? I don't know. If you're a writer or like a creative of any type, these are probably all things that you have considered and gone back and forth on, because this is just like a continuous struggle, I think, for people who are trying to like be more creative and live more fulfilling lives and like work jobs that are more aligned to their purpose without starting to like resent those jobs. And I think it can be done. I've seen people do it, but I think that it is going to take a lot of like balance and continuous improvement on my part, and like checking in with myself and making sure that I'm not getting too influenced one way or another. And all that to say, that's the focus basically for me next month. This is what I want to focus on. I've started to put together a mood board to try and reflect that. So yeah, this next month is definitely going to be me focusing heavily on writing and prioritizing writing, because this is something that I want it to be part of my career. I want to be able to spend more time doing it, and this, I think I'm taking steps in that direction. And alongside that, I also want to focus on things that are going to keep me grounded. So things like journaling, meditation, taking time to rest and read, because those are things that I love and that not only inspire my writing, but also remind me of my purpose for writing, because stories always bring me back down to earth, which is kind of a funny thing, but they always remind me of why I love storytelling so much. while also creatively inspiring my own storytelling. So I want to read more. I want to spend more time resting, meditating, checking in with myself, lots of self-care so that I can stay grounded and not get too like stressed and caught up in the idea of hustling to make this writing career work. I want to focus on how I can do this sustainably and how I can make it, how I can fit my publishing timelines, my ideal publishing timelines, which would be no more than a year between books, but ideally less, while also letting myself grow slowly and grow sustainably and in a way where I'm not going to burn myself out and I'm not going to start to resent this thing that I have loved for my entire life. And those are going to be the focuses of June as far as like my, I guess, general focus in life goes. This is what I've put into my mood board. These are the ways that I want to be creative and prove to myself that I can be more dedicated to writing and to writing as a career, while also taking care of myself so that that actually can be the fulfilling career that I know I want it to be without me getting sick and tired of it or burnt out or just like going down a path where I'm doing it for the wrong reasons. Those are the goals for June, or those are kind of like the general overall themes that I want to bring into my life and focus on in June. And now I'm going to switch over to my writing timeline. So I have this writing timeline in my Notion setup. It used to be just Between the Waves focused, but because ideally Between the Waves is going to be passed off to beta readers within the next month, I decided to make it just an overall writing timeline so that I can also keep track of other projects that are currently on the go. This timeline is specifically for like creative writing projects in the realm of fantasy, because both the projects I'm working on are fantasy related, and I have a couple other projects, but I don't have them on there right now because they're also kind of like on pause, and it's just if I have extra time, that's what I focus on. But right now my fantasy novels are the main focus. And also this timeline is pretty loose, I would say. Ideally, this timeline is actually going to be less time, like it's not going to take as long to do these things. That's what I'm aiming for, but I have put them a little bit longer than I anticipate just in case. On June 12th is when I would like to send out a call for beta readers. I have an old beta reading form that I've used before, and I'm going to review that form and see what worked and what didn't for when I got that beta reader feedback for a previous project. And then I'm basically just going to use a version of that form for Between the Waves instead. So on June 12th, I will put up a post for beta readers. So then mid-June, I hope to finish draft 3 of Between the Waves. I'm like, this is also why I'm so determined, is because I'm sick and tired of saying, I'm going to finish this draft, I'm going to finish this draft, I'm going to finish this draft. I feel like I've been saying I'm going to finish this draft for the past year. And I have even looked into, like, when I was making this timeline and I was updating it, I had the old dates for Between the Waves, and it was literally a year ago that I was working on a different version of draft 3 that I said I was going to finish. So I'm just like sick and tired of saying it. I want to get this story out. I don't want to move on to another one yet. I want to get this published. I love this story. And the honest truth is that I just haven't been putting in the energy that this story deserves. And I'm sick and tired of that. So we're doing it this time. I swear. And you're all going to hold me accountable. Right? Yes. Yes, you are. So from June 19th to June 26th, which is a full week, I'm going to do a read through of draft 3 and make any tweaks that I want to make before sending it to beta readers. So that's kind of just to go through, clean it up, make sure there aren't any glaring issues, because I also don't want beta readers to like waste their time with a draft that is not ready for beta readers. So I just want to make sure that it's like cleaned up and ready to go before actually sending it out. And then on June 28th, I would like to send it to beta readers. June 28th at the latest is the plan as of right now, but that gives me time to kind of like prep everything, and some sort of like package to send to them and guidelines for what kind of feedback I'm looking for. And then I will be sending that to them. And then right after I finish like the read through of Between the Waves draft 3 and like making sure that it's ready to go to beta readers, I'm going to start rereading and prepping to like dive back into the first draft of Project Geo. I've talked about this project before. I think I talked about it for NaNoWriMo last year. I want to say there's anywhere between 15 to 20,000 words of it so far. I do have an outline for it that I'm working through, although when I'm doing this read through, I'll probably add to it. And yeah, once I've finished this read through of that, like I said, 15 to 20,000 words or so, I think is what I have. Once I've finished that read through and I've made plans, I'm going to jump back into first drafting for Project Geo. I am really excited about this project, and I have been for a while. It's one that's been kind of sitting on the back burner, obviously because of Between the Waves. And honestly, like, part of the reason for me jumping into this after I've sent Between the Waves off to beta readers is because I don't want to be thinking about Between the Waves. I don't want to be like anxiously awaiting feedback. I would rather jump into another project that I have been like waiting to jump into. And then ideally, sometime in mid-July, I should have all of my beta reader feedback back to me, and I should be able to spend some time reviewing that and making a new plan for draft 4 of Between the Waves. And honestly, that is where I stopped planning. In the past, I have like planned my writing timeline out further than that, but I decided not to do that this time around because I just know that things will still shift. I'm not really like in a routine of writing in the sense that like I don't really know how much I'm going to be able to get done from time to time. I don't have the experience to know how this timeline will work, so I haven't gone too far in advance because I know that things will change and I want to give them the freedom and the space to change if that needs to happen. So that's why I've stopped at like mid to end of July. So yeah, that's what's going to be happening. I've shown you the focus for the next month. I want to be focusing more on writing. I want to be giving this the time that it deserves. But yeah, I just know that I need to be focusing on this. I just want to publish this duology. I'm excited. I got so much of book 2 figured out, and I've been telling myself for years that I'm going to take this seriously, and I really want to keep pushing for that, and I really want to keep prioritizing that. And I know that I need to be giving myself deadlines, because if I don't give myself deadlines, no one else is going to, and I'm literally never going to finish this book. So that's where we're at, finding the balance, but dreaming big and, you know, putting our heart into it. Wish me luck. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'm sending you all the love. I hope your projects are going super well and that you're writing things that you love and that you're aligned with and that you're excited about. And I hope that you continue to follow my journey, because I'm really excited and this community has been like such an integral part of it. So yeah, it's been fun and it's going to continue to be fun. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smile, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.